Hi, everybody. Thank you. Somebody likes my pink shoes. That's good. So hi, I'm delighted. This is my 5th Global Wellness Summit, and I am absolutely delighted to be with you all. So at a time where we are right now in the US, we're dealing with a lot of different things. Unpredictability in the environment, unprecedented violence, social media that was designed to bring all of us together is having second and third level consequences that we never could have imagined. And I am so grateful to be spending a couple days here talking about wellness. So thank you all very much. I like to build things, products, brands, services, and I like to tell stories. So I've had the good fortune in my career to be part of some early business trends. And they kind of have seemed in my life to come in 10-year spurts. So when I left college, my first business was an outdoor retail store selling hiking and camping equipment that then grew into an adventure travel company. Then I totally pivoted and became a filmmaker and got to travel the world with my friends making movies, which was very fun. Not quite as elegant as Louis' movies, but a few pretty decent ones. And then I had the really good fortune to stumble into the internet and digital health. So my early digital days were in the health space, and we were focused on challenges and solving problems. So we would have conversations about some really complex issue and then run off to our next meeting, and I would have engineers waiting for me outside the restroom to get 5 minutes to walk down the hallway to tell me about how they thought they were going to solve the problem. Then a couple days would pass, and they would come back and they would show me a prototype. They'd built something and hacked something together over a couple days. And they were so passionate about it, and everybody that we worked with were totally focused on helping patients become advocates for their own health care and figuring out how we could give them the best possible tools and services and content to be able to advise those decisions that they needed to make. So we were all stewards of the brand. We were absolutely obsessed with credibility, trustworthiness, accuracy, focusing on evidence to make sure that every single thing that we did and that we gave to customers was focused on the truth. And we figured out, amazingly, how to get companies to fund this work, and we were off and running. So I was in a roundtable a few minutes ago, and somebody came up with a great idea about children's health. Well, at the company WebMD that I worked at for a very long time, we built a kids' interactive gaming platform in 2010. So there's a lot of technology out there and a lot of opportunity to bring technology to people who can really use it and really need it. And sometimes you're a little bit ahead of the curve. So fast forward a few companies and a few IPOs later, the environment became really corporate. So we became less about helping our patients or new moms or other people that really needed our help. They used to be our customers and our audience, and instead we were focused on maximizing the margin and making the quarter. So it became a really frustrating environment to be in for me personally. So I was missing that mission part of my early career, and I was equally disillusioned with the digital health space, as well as the dialogue and the discourse that was going on in my country. So I figured, why not do something totally different and go work with a bunch of amazing technologists that were trying to solve the biggest, most audacious problems in our country. So this is what I'm doing now.
When you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way it is. Your life is just to live your life inside the world. Try not to bash into the walls too much. try to have a nice family life, save a little money. That's a very limited life. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact, and that is everything around you you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can influence it. You can build your own things that other people can use. Once you learn that, you'll never be the same again.
So I am lucky enough to work at America's Greatest Startup. This is an office at the president's office at the White House, and it is a kind of amazing experience. One of the projects I'm working on, I'm detailed over to the VA, and we're actually helping veterans get access to health care and all of the benefits that they have earned. And it's an amazing opportunity to both be humbled by the experience of what we're trying to do and be so incredibly inspired by the technologists that I'm working with. These kids are unbelievable. So I'm going to try and take some of these digital concepts and make them relevant to you, this audience. You guys come from a lot of different business segments, and some of the jargon that we tend to use in the industry might not make sense to you. We use a lot of acronyms around these technologies that we use to deliver advertising and optimization and all kinds of things. So I'm going to try and keep it a little bit focused for you. So your brand is one of the most important, if not the most important, assets of your business. And some of you work for global brands, some of you work for local or regional brands, and for some people in the audience, your brand is you. And so you have to be really cautious about the way that you're interacting with this digital marketplace to make sure that your brand is safe. So some of the technology that we are using are focused pretty much on optimizing digital display advertising. So you only have a little bit of money. Ideally, you want to make sure that you are telling your own story about your brand, controlling that story to the best of your ability, and making sure your customers discover your story and hopefully interact in a really positive way with it. So any decisions that you make about how to spend money on digital platforms have to be really thoughtful. Because of this complex marketplace, the transactions are actually focused on targeting people. This is some of this information you might be hearing in the news about how people are being targeted, micro-targeted, lots of different iterations of this, but in the United States specifically, it has become quite a large topic for us to discuss. So what you want to do is make sure that the decisions that you're making about your brand on these digital platforms, that you are involved in them, that you're not just leaving these decisions to that amazing account manager maybe that you trust and that you've dealt with for 20 years. You want to make sure that you're asking a lot of questions about where is my brand, how is my brand being represented in all of these platforms. And I'll give you a really interesting example that is true that I found in one of the companies that I was working with. There's a thing called family safe filters, and they're a way that you're able to filter out ads for, say, tobacco and firearms and alcohol. And there's this really very trusted health site that the week before the end of the quarter, they turned off all of those family-safe filters, obviously to maximize their revenue at the end of the quarter. But somebody's brand was affected by that, and affected in a pretty significant way. So being involved in how your brand is out there and being distributed is a really important thing for you to focus on. And I think the key point to remember is digital isn't its own channel. It's not its own department. It's not somebody else's job. Digital is the way people are consuming media, developing brand preferences, and choosing products offline and online. So the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is data. So another one of those really big topics that tends to be super confusing to people. You hear a lot about data in the marketplace. So in May, in a May issue of The Economist magazine, it was stated that data is the new oil, which is kind of a big statement. It's this century's driver of growth and change. So the technology trend that is really driving most of this is the things that we're doing. We're sharing photos on our phones. We are sharing videos. We are interacting with augmented reality programs. So what you should think about data in your own business is, what is your customer doing? Right? It should be as simple as, what is your customer doing? What is the intention that your customer has? Because most knowledge journeys now start online. Excuse me for a sec. Little cotton mouth. So most of your customer journeys are starting online, so that's where you want to meet your customer. So some nuances about how data is used is audiences are now targeted and segmented in really, really unique ways based on a lot of that platform technology. So because we have such limited attention spans, there are ways of interacting with people that are characterized as micro moments. You know, those might be the moments where you're actually take your phone out, you're trying to look something up you're really interested in, you have about 30 seconds, you look at it, you have all intentions in the world of interacting, but then you put your phone away and you forget about it and you come back to it at some other point. Those are micro moments, and they're really, really important opportunities to engage a user a little bit differently. So through these journeys that are really segmented, they are focused on a customer trying to do something, maybe decide how to purchase something, maybe figure out what a price is for something. But the opportunity that you have in those micro moments, it could be developing a how-to video about how your brand works or where your location is of your business. So data needs to inform all of that. Data can inform your creative strategy. For example, if you do make that how-to video series and showcase your product or service, using data, you can totally personalize those how-to videos based on the intent of what the customer is trying to do. What journey are they on? What answer are they seeking in that discovery? And so you want to make sure, using all of this amazing technology, that you target your content by the intent of the user who is on that journey. And make sure you answer their primary question, of course, and in some cases, by using data to inform your creative strategy, you're actually lowering the barrier to whether it is purchase intent or taking action. So the next slide, the clicker's not here, by the way. That's why you have the clicker. Thank you, Mo. No, that's okay. I have your glasses up here, too, and I think your name tag. So I know where you are. The next topic to cover is security. And security, you probably have heard a lot in the marketplace about Equifax, or the NHS in the UK was hacked, and a lot of people's data is out there all over the place. So the thing that I try to really stay focused on in the Equifax, 143 million people's information in the United States was recently compromised. And they tried to blame, the CEO actually tried to blame the entire thing on one engineer not applying the right security patch to a known issue, which is not only idiotic, it's moronic in so many ways. But I'm not a shareholder of Equifax, so I guess it's okay to bash them. Because security isn't one person's job. Security is everybody's job. So really simple things that I have learned working where I work is we can't plug any devices into our machines because people will add viruses to simple USB drives that sometimes you get at trade shows. So I would highly recommend you not to take random USB drives and plug them into your network, especially in a competitive environment. So you want to make sure that you focus on security, everybody in your company focuses on security, and that you learn about really basic things, both for your personal life and for your business life, about email scams, how people do spear phishing, which is giving you a really targeted email that looks like it came from your best friend, and you were so tempted to open it, and I would just highly recommend not opening it. But there's lots of information out there about that, and I'm always happy to talk to anybody about that. So the next topic I wanted to talk to you about is digital transformation. So that is really, the concept of that is about how technology changes the conditions in which business is done. That's really what digital transformation is. It's not about digital or transformation for that fact. It's really about how you and the people that you work with are able to adjust to really rapid business changes. So take a second to think about that, like about the people in your organization and the way that you manage your organization. Are you really able to pivot quickly? Are you really creating common language among all of the people in your business so that you are constantly challenging your own assumptions? Are you able to move fast? Are you nimble enough and challenging each other enough rather than sitting back and going, oh, we're so far ahead of those guys, they're never going to catch us until they catch you. Not only catch you, they beat you. So basically, in this entire process of digital transformation, it is about focusing on that competitive landscape and really being honest with yourself and with your team about what you're capable of and really what capabilities you're missing and where you're going to go find those capabilities and how you're going to attract those capabilities into your company. So you need to invest and continue to invest in technology. And this is a really important part, but there's good news here. It used to be really expensive to invest in technology. It used to be really expensive to set up servers and have a data center contract and manage this entire ecosystem. But now technology is so much easier to access. The cloud is transforming the way business is being done. You can buy software as a service. There are so many people available in the marketplace that can help you with your data and analytics and upgrading and security. So try to be open-minded about this, and even though you probably paid X hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars on those servers that are sitting in the rack and sitting at some location, there are lots of other new ways to develop products and services, and you really want to think about that. So wrapping up, I think, since I don't want to have the music play, even though the music is almost playing, what I want to challenge everybody with is I have had the best opportunity to work with millennials, and I lean into them, and I would tell you, if you focus on introducing this unbelievable talent pool into your environment, you are going to have an unbelievable business outcome. So I'm going to leave you, if you go to the very last slide, I'll leave you with this one thought. Thank you very much.